Center. We are looking at some light snow coming through this morning. So if you're just waking up, just joining, we're concerned about potentially having another snow day. Most locations do not, just because of this morning snow really not being much, which is some great news to see across the area. As you take a look, we'll start off with radar. We do have snow moving through, but it's a light amount of snow that it's not going to amount to much. Today, we are going to see more snow as we get towards this afternoon, mainly around the lunch hour and then through the first few hours of the afternoon. So there may be some impacts to the evening commute, or if you're going anywhere as we get into this upcoming weekend, you might want to pay attention for some snowy conditions across the area. Right now, though, again, fairly light, though we do have a little bit of a stronger burst just kind of arriving right now on I-94 and 275 towards the airport. I'll put this into motion so you can see kind of the direction. So Belleville, looking at some of the snow coming through, that's going to eventually move into Taylor, Wyandotte, Dearborn, Detroit. Overall, though, this first bit will not be any more than a dusting, which is some good news, of course, after what we had just earlier this week on Wednesday. But again, not many showers out there right now, but we do have some, so still be prepared for slippery conditions. Not only do we have this little bit of additional snow, but we've had very cold temperatures, so any snow that was not cleared yesterday is still there on the roadways. Also, there's some areas of ice too. We did have some sunshine yesterday, which was great, which did help melt some of the snow. And if the road didn't dry out, those areas could still have ice. Another reason for that is because the effectiveness of ice goes down when our temperatures are so cold, and we are looking at temperatures in the teens right now. So again, patchy ice out there, also areas of snow still on the ground if it wasn't cleared, especially compacted snow, because of course the timing of the snow that came through on Wednesday was later in the day. Unfortunately, a lot of us were out and about driving because of it was just our evening commute. I know the problems that it caused on that day, but then that's harder to clear when we compact it down. So just keep that in mind this morning. Just take it slow if you can. But I want to zoom out. You can see there's a bigger batch of snow off to the west. It's now coming across Lake Michigan, impacting Green Bay down to Chicago right now. All of this is moving in our direction, and it will be here by the time we get to about the lunch hour, so noon or 1 o'clock this afternoon. Overall, our snowfall will be just a couple inches. This isn't a front that's going to get stalled as part of a bigger system that is moving, so it's going to move through at a pace. But we are looking at about 1 to 3 inches of snow on the way this afternoon. Heaviest snow will be north rather than south. However, still with that said, we're still going to look at enough snow to impact conditions. So if you're traveling this afternoon, be prepared for that. I know a lot of people head up north. I'll have a look at that forecast in just a second. But let's kind of time out what we've got going on. Light snow showers this morning. Otherwise, we do get just a couple more even throughout the rest of this morning. This is a look closer to 9 o'clock. And then once we get towards the lunch hour, this is what I was talking about. That moisture really finally comes in, and that'll be closer to about noon or maybe even a little bit just after that. But the snow will roll on through, still looking at impacts through about 4 o'clock, especially the farther north that you live. I know that becomes kind of the start of the evening commute, so be prepared for some slippery conditions. Or if you're picking your kids up from school too, there'll be some fresh snow on the ground, so be prepared for that, especially if people do work. It's going to be hard to shovel that if they're not at their house. So that's what we're looking at as we get through the rest of the day today. Otherwise, just a few lingering snow showers. They mainly stay north though as we continue through the rest of this evening. So biggest shot for snow today will be between about 12 and 4 o'clock, though we will have a few light snow showers this morning. We'll also have a couple after that. So if you're wondering when we'll see the most snow across the area. I also want to touch on the fact that it is cold out there this morning and the winds are starting to pick up. Today's wind chills won't be as low as what we're going to see the next 2 days, actually 3 days, especially getting into Monday and Tuesday. That's looks like when we'll have the coldest air in place. But right now our actual air temperatures are in the teens. So if you're about to step out the door, cover up as much skin as possible. That's what, anything exposed with the wind will get colder, of course, and dry out even more. The air is pretty dry out there right now too, so look at that. But we do have cold temperatures. We're in the teens right now, 20 in Adrian, 21 for those of you that live in Monroe. But let's take a look at the winds. They are picking up just a bit with the system coming in. So winds are out of the south right now at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. So just the sustained winds. These aren't wind gusts. We'll have gusts today close to about 25, even up to 30 possible. But our sustained winds, any sort of wind even like this, will make it feel even colder. Let's take a look at current temperatures versus wind chills. So yes, right now our temperatures are in the teens, but with the winds, it's feeling more like the single digits in many spots. If you walk your kids to school, if you walk to work, if you take your kids to the bus stop, if you know, any sort of outdoor thing that you're doing today, be prepared for some cold conditions. I mean, it is going to feel cold out there, bitterly cold wind chills. You want to limit your time outside if you can throughout the rest of this morning, just because it is, again, going to be so cold. Good morning. Yes, got some people joining. Ask your questions. Would love to help you figure out what you need to know for today, maybe for this week. When are we going to see a big change in this weather? Yeah, let me know what we've got going on, and I'm here to help. Let's take a quick look at wind gusts today. Again, like I mentioned, gusts today will be up to about 25, maybe a little bit stronger than that as we continue throughout the day, but any sort of wind, honestly, with temperatures this cold, is just going to be feeling very, very cold. All right, a quick check of your 7-day forecast. We do have, you're going to love this, chance for snow pretty much every day. But the thing is, aside from today, the chances are on the lower end, the 20 to 30%. And especially as we get closer to like Monday and Tuesday, those would be more chances of some lake effect or lake enhancement as we go through. But today's an actual system swinging through. And also we'll see that again as you get into Sunday night and moving into the first part of Monday. So overall looking at snow, but I mean, maybe what stands out more, the temperatures. I'm there with you, honestly. 15 is intimidating. 13 is an intimidating number to have on a 7-day forecast for us. It's bitterly cold. Our average temperatures are about the coldest this time of year, but our average high is still 32. So we're about half of that when you go between 0 and 32. Very cold conditions expected Monday and Tuesday. Wind chills will likely be well below 0, especially in the morning. We're talking at least 10 degrees below 0 in the morning. I mean, take a look at the low Tuesday morning, 3 degrees. So keep that in mind. I don't know if you're wondering, because there are some schools that close for wind chill warnings, and those are usually issued when wind chills, I'm going to get this wrong, it's either 25 or 30 degrees below 0. That's going to be close. I don't think we'll quite get that low, but still keep an eye Tuesday morning. I know a lot of schools are off on Monday. A lot of you are off as well on Monday. So don't have to worry about it there, but that's going to be a day that you want to be inside if you can, just because it'll be so cold. The wind chills will be cold too. But there may be some extensions into Tuesday based on how cold conditions are, because they don't want, of course, kids walking to school. School districts don't want kids walking to school or waiting for the bus at the bus stop when it is so cold. So please keep an eye on that forecast. I know cold conditions, it's not just about the snow, but that's what we're looking at up and coming. So the 30 today does not look so bad compared to what we are looking at as we start off next week with the bitterly cold conditions. But right now this morning, I just wanted to hop on and take a look at some snow. You'll see this load in just a second. Overall snowfall, not much. We just have some light snow coming through this morning. I know there was some whisperings of, are we going to have school tomorrow? I mean, I was on the same kind of boat with, let's see what the school districts do tomorrow. We do have a couple school closings. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. I don't think the list is, if the list is crazy long, I won't read them. But yes, we do have some school closings this morning. Definitely not as many as what we had yesterday. Of course, road crews were out all of yesterday. Salting, but like we talked about before, with the cold conditions, I mean, highs yesterday were near 20 degrees. The salt isn't that effective. And so not everything melted. The sunshine helped a bit, which was great, but still be prepared for that. Okay, there's still like 146 school closures. We got quite a few. I don't want to read through them. So just make sure, I'm sure your school notified you as well. But there are still quite a few schools closed, just reading through to see if they're mainly like one school or one of the big ones, obviously Detroit Community Schools. That's a big area. Otherwise, a lot of these are individual schools. Detroit Public Schools closed. Let's see, E-Course. Yeah, there's still quite a few places closed this morning, but if your kids are hoping for additional snowfall, this morning's snow is just going to be a dusting. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait until this afternoon. Then it'll be a little bit more than a dusting. Sorry, I had a Kind bar this morning. Probably not the best thing to have, you know, a bar with peanuts, because then it just tickles your throat the rest of the day. Good morning, Lynn. Thank you for joining. Yeah, just talking about what we've got going on this morning. Great news is that this initial snow isn't much. We do have some dry air in place too. We're going to have even more dry air kind of sliding in, so that should be helpful for totals, especially south of I-94 throughout the day today. But as we take a look at what's going on, again, lighter snow showers for the most part this morning. Our strongest band is now moving towards the airport, towards Romulus. You can see it here, stretching all the way up, even up towards Novi at this moment. It's not much, but it is just enough to create some slippery conditions or reduce visibility. One thing that I noticed this morning, where people had drove, I guess this doesn't even make any sense. When they drove in front of me, you know, you get that spray. There is some stuff on the roads. That stuff was hard to get off my windshield shield, harder than normal, because once I sprayed the windshield wiper fluid, it almost like froze quicker, if that makes sense. So it like wiped, and then I had snow all along like this side, even though snow wasn't being blown at me. So just be prepared for reduced visibility. Conditions, yes, are much better than yesterday driving, though they're not ideal. So treat it like, you know, some areas could be ice or not any shiny surface. That might not be water just because it's so cold. Again, we do have cold enough temperatures that ice isn't necessarily super effective at this point for, salt isn't super effective for the ice. So that means we could have icy conditions out there. But this is just a light batch of snow rolling on through this morning. It shouldn't create many problems, just potentially a few slippery conditions, reduce visibility as well. This will be out of the area in just about an hour, 8:30 or so. So if you had to work closer to 9, you'll be fine. We do have more snow on the way. I'll zoom out, add in some of the snow. Of course, you can see the blues are darker and there's a lot more snow off to the west. This is the moisture that's going to be coming through this afternoon for us. So for us, it's between about noon and 4 o'clock this afternoon. Looking at about a widespread 1 to 3 inches of snow. Lighter amounts are likely south of I-94 with some drier air, but overall, we do have this snow coming in as we continue through the day. Before we get to this afternoon and that snow arrives, still a chance for some lighter showers on and off, but then overall the snow picks it up as we get closer to noon. So this is about 12 o'clock, 12:15. I want to backtrack it just a bit. That's 12. So even for those of you that live farther to the west, closer to 11 o'clock, some snow starting, and then we'll see the snow 12, and then moving across the area through about 2 o'clock. By this point, we start to see the snow end on the west side. However, farther to the east or east of US 23, that is where we'll still have some of the snow showers rolling through. And then by the time we get to 4 o'clock, the very early part of the evening commute, it is better. However, still be prepared for slippery driving conditions, though crews will be out getting rid of what they can of the snow that does fall, but it still could be slippery driving conditions. The timing, though, is better than Wednesday because the bulk of the snow will be out of here by the time we get to 4 o'clock, rather than the snow arriving and then that front taking forever to push through and just kind of dumping during the evening commute. Also, if you're traveling north, I know it's Friday, so let's backtrack just a little bit. If you notice here, this is a look at about noon, and we're seeing that snow stretching all the way up towards Traverse City. So it isn't just about if you are here in this area, but if you're traveling north too, you'll run into some problems. That snow moving through, especially around noon. If you are going up north today, if you can leave earlier, as in like 9 o'clock, you're better off. As we continue through the afternoon, they're going to continue to see snow in that direction. I know this map is shifting. I'll shift it back just a bit. But if you're leaving, say, I'll stop it all the way here at about 4 o'clock, when most of us are starting to see the end of at least some of the steadier snow. Up north, they're still seeing some of the snow, and they're even going to have kind of more snow slide on through, and then even get some lake effect snow showers. So you can see that up towards sorry, I've got to get these pause points in, so that's why I won't let me go forward, but or go north, but you can still see some lake effect snow bands try to develop more off to the north, so keeping a look at that. Overall, again, looking at for us here in Metro Detroit, between noon and 4 today, we're looking at about 1 to 3 inches of snow. It doesn't take much to create slippery driving conditions. If you can avoid traveling between noon and 4, excuse me, you'll be much better off. I know a lot of schools, though, end right around 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock. There will be fresh snow on the ground right then. So if you're picking up your kids, whether you're walking, whether you're driving, please be prepared for some slippery driving conditions. I know crews will be out, of course, with the snow plows, with the salt, but of course everything takes some time, so that's good things to note. All right, Martina's saying it's snowing now. Yes, we do have some light snow. Accumulation right now will be less than a half an inch. That's some good news. It does not look like this front is being stalled by any means. It's just going through, bringing some light snow showers. And that's in Taylor. Thank you, Martina. That's great. Let's see. Thank you, Sheila. Yes, it will only be a dusting. I know. So the dynamics, again, if you missed it and everything, what happened on Wednesday was that we had a front come through and it just dragged its feet. That's the best way to describe it. There was some other physics going on that slowed it down, but it was expected. Yes, the snow was expected. The direction and how everything kind of played out. The speed was the problem, and so because the speed was so slow, it just dumped on us in the same spot. So if that moved as expected, we would have only had about an inch for most of us. But of course, it did not move that fast, and we had anywhere from 3 to even 6 inches of snow in a few spots. And that all still fell within a timeline that just, was unfortunate, and then it impacted conditions yesterday. But again, this morning we're tracking some light snow. I'll show you what's going on this morning. So if you're just about to head out the door, it's just a dusting out there at this moment. Less than a half an inch expected. You can tell there's not much on the radar return, meaning you're not seeing a lot of blues. You're just seeing mainly some white color here, which is indicating some light snowfall all the way up towards Lapeer, even Port Sand Lake, maybe a little bit of light snow, though up here the radar's kind of scanning a little bit higher, so that may not even be reaching the ground. But we are seeing some snow showers through Oakland County, southern Macomb County, and then now just arriving here through Taylor, just to the southwest of Wyandotte at this moment. Same thing through Dearborn Heights. This is all very light this morning. It still could create some slippery conditions. Like I mentioned too, road conditions are much better than what they were yesterday. However, there is still snow-packed roadways, especially none of the major ones, just because salt in these temperatures really struggles to break down the snow, melt the snow. So that's what we're looking at. I mean, right now we're waking up in the teens. Overnight we were in the teens. So salt becomes ineffective as you get closer to 15 and even below. It just really struggles to break things down. So looking at that being an issue this morning. Thankfully, mainly the highways seem to be mostly just dry, which was great because the sunshine and the salt yesterday during the day helped there. But still, if you had any melting going on from some of the roadside snow right along the edges, there's still a lot of slush, still a lot of snow, still a lot of ice. So be cautious of the edges, the shoulder too. You don't want to kind of drift that way and then get taken that way when you hit a slick spot. So keep that in mind. Road conditions are not 100%. So as you travel to work, just please be prepared for that. Let's see. Caleb's in Adrian. Right now you're getting a break today. If you live in Adrian or if you live in Lenawee County, Monroe counties, you have about an inch of snow expected, if you're wondering that. The totals go higher farther to the north with the system that's coming through. Not really the system, yes, the system, excuse me, sorry. But we're looking at a chance for some dry air south of I-94, which would keep the totals a little bit lighter. But it's not what's coming through right now. You might be looking at what's coming through right now and being like, really? We're going to see this many inches of snow? Well, it's actually what's coming through as we get into this afternoon. It's off to the west, so you can see all of the snow out here off to the west. This is our area of moisture that we'll be watching this afternoon. For us here in Metro Detroit, it's between about noon and 4 o'clock today. Leading edge now is just arriving here on the west coast of Michigan. West Coast, I guess that sounds so weird. Anyways, whatever. And then we're looking at, of course, more moisture even back farther off to the west. But this will be here once we get towards the lunch hour. So if you're taking a half day today, you'll notice some of the snow. If you can leave a little earlier, closer to 11 o'clock, you'll be better. This is 11 o'clock across our area. Snow just arriving on the very western counties, but then it picks up by noon and then it moves across the entire area. You can see more focus towards the east as we get near 2 o'clock, but really the moisture doesn't move on until closer to 4 o'clock. This is the graph model. So this is just one of our models, but a lot of models are indicating, yes, this morning stuff, very light. And then the secondary stuff is where we will add a couple of inches. And we are looking at this moving through in about a 3-hour period, maybe a little bit longer, but one particular location really sees the snow for about 3 hours. Totals are going to be about 1 to 3 inches. So that is a nice bit of snow in a relatively short amount of time. So there is a good chance that we'll have some pockets of some heavy snow this afternoon that could reduce visibility even more, create slippery driving conditions. So if you're going anywhere between noon and 4 today, please just be ready for some snow continuing to fall. Once we get past this morning and we continue into this evening, we will have just a few more snow showers, but nothing too crazy, which is some better news. So if you do have to go anywhere later today, it won't be as bad, but conditions will probably be similar to what they are right now. Some leftover snow, some slippery spots. Please just be ready for some poor travel conditions. All right, I want to take a bigger look at what's going on here as we get into this upcoming weekend. So this is starting today. Again, we'll have snow roll through with this system as we get all the way into tonight. This is a look at tomorrow morning. Our best chance for some snow will be kind of up towards honestly, for most of us tomorrow, I was going to say up towards the thumb, but winds are out of the west. So we'll have a chance for some lake effect snow tomorrow, but with the direction of the winds, the chance is pretty low. I wouldn't be surprised to get a couple of shots of snow, some flurries here or there too. But overall, our chance for snow on your Saturday are pretty low. It's just the chance mainly for some lake effect. Sunday, for a majority of the day, it's quiet, but then we have this another clipper system that comes through in the evening. This is a look at about 9 o'clock, so we will have lighter snow showers Sunday into Sunday night. I know you saw that switch there. So first we have the graph model, which is a higher resolution, easier to kind of see the coverage. This is the European model, so it's not as clean cut because it goes out a little farther, but I want you to see here that this is still a system. The reason you can tell this is a system is because we've got this big area of snow. So this is another clipper system. It's an Alberta clipper. Oh my gosh, am I Bostonian now? It's an Alberta clipper. It originates up in Alberta, Canada, and then it comes through, and usually they're fast moving. And so this one comes in Sunday evening and then will impact us into early Monday morning. A lot of us are off of work and school on Monday, so hopefully that's good news for you, that you do not have to travel anywhere. But we are going to be looking at this system still creating a good flow behind it, a northwest flow, and when you have northwest flow this time of year, that's what leads to lake effect snow showers. Now as we get into Monday and Tuesday, there will be lake effect snow showers. You can see it here. So remember, we just showed you that big area of snow, that kind of circular area, and then now you see here it's doing this weird like kind of C shape. That indicates lake effect snow, because you have a northwest wind. There's off of Lake Superior impacting the UP, off of Lake Huron impacting Ontario, off of Lake Erie impacting Pennsylvania, Ohio, a little bit Buffalo. We'll see what the winds there, and then there's Ontario. For us, we need a perfect northwest wind to really get the banding all the way across the state. We've had it many times already this year. We will have it again. So we're going to get a west-northwesterly wind. Heavier amounts are definitely expected farther off to the west, but for us, we'll see some snow showers as we move into your Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday. Those will be lake effect snow showers. The thing is though, it is also going to be breezy on those days. We will have some wind gusts, even stronger, up to 30, 35 miles per hour, especially moving into Monday. So it is going to be very cold Monday and Tuesday. I don't think the Monday, Tuesday story is necessarily about the snow because it is going to be on the lighter side, but it's going to be the wind chills. It is going to be cold as we get into those days. We do have some cold conditions this morning, but it's going to be relatively warm compared to what's to come as we move into next week. The morning low on Tuesday is about 3. A lot of us are going to be in the single digits, feeling more like double digits below 0 on Tuesday morning. Right now we're anywhere from, you can see 17 for our low this morning in Pontiac, and we've warmed up now to 20 in Detroit and Adrian, 21 in Monroe, but we did start off earlier at about 19 or so. Michael, I love it. Already done with winter. It is January. Let's just say let's get through January 31st, and then we can hope for some spring-like weather. I know it has been a rough winter. It's been a rougher winter than what we've had recently. That's the thing. I know there's people that'll probably see this and be like, oh, well, when I was a kid, it was way worse. Yes, we've had some colder winters for sure. This winter has been cold too. We've had rounds of snow. The thing is, we've had a couple warm-ups. Of course, we had Christmas time where it just warmed up. We also had some slightly warmer conditions for the second week of January. But now we're looking at the cold air. We're still kind of continuing this roller coaster up a little warmer and then dropping temperatures. And that's what we're seeing right now. Lenny asking about snow accumulation today in Macomb. About 1 to 3 inches of snow for you in Macomb County. I don't know if this is Macomb or Macomb County, but yeah, 1 to 3 inches of snow today, and that's mainly going to be coming this afternoon. We'll have a little bit of light snow this morning, not adding to much more than a dusting, and then this afternoon is when we will have the 1 to 3 inches of snow. Up for you in Macomb, definitely likely closer to the 2 to 3 inches of snow, though there will be some pockets that get a little bit less than that. I think the lighter amounts will be south today, but it's that batch that comes through between 12 and 4 o'clock. I'll put back on Futurecast so you're able to see. Oh, let me load it up. So you're able to see kind of what we're looking at. Again, this morning, it's mainly light snow showers. Minimal accumulation. The snow that does fall this morning will not be going anywhere unless it is shoveled away. It is way too cold for any of it to melt, and we have cloudy skies too, so the sun is not going to help melt it. But if you're like, oh, well, when should I shovel? Well, if you can do it right after the light little dusting, sure. Otherwise, wait till this evening, because the steadier snow comes in. This is noon, and then we'll fast forward through 2 o'clock. But you can see at this point too, what you're indicating, this is why I was saying heavier amounts north than south. Take a look at 2 o'clock. We're already seeing some kind of drier air filtering in, so lighter amounts here through Lenawee and Monroe counties. And I'll even backtrack just a bit. You're not going to miss out on the snow, but take a look at how this kind of comes through, especially Lenawee and Monroe counties. It does break apart and you're at the tail edge there. However, farther to the north, as I cycle this through, we'll stop right here, you have some heavier amounts, some of the darker blues, mainly north of I-94. So north of I-94 is a better chance for about 2 to 3 inches of snow. South of that, it's more about 1 to 2. There may be pockets that get heavier if you get a burst, but like I was talking about before, so this snow will be falling for your particular area. You'll get a steadier amount of snow for about 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours. And our totals are expected to be, anywhere from 1 to 3 inches. So that's about an inch an hour, roughly, breaking it down. So that is a decent amount of snow. Be prepared for times this afternoon to have poor visibility, slippery driving conditions as well, and then just accumulating snow. It's somewhat good that it's happening between 12 and 4, so it's not happening right during the evening commute or during the morning commute. But I know a lot of you are going to be out and about this afternoon. If you don't have to be out and about, don't do your things this morning before the snow arrives. I do expect worse conditions later today than this morning. So if you can get out and about. It is bitterly cold out there. I did just show you temperatures, but take a look at temperatures when you factor in the winds. Winds are out of the south right now, south-southwest at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. We're already looking at gusts closer to 20 to even 25. So you can see our temperatures are in the teens and 20s, but the wind chills are in the single digits in quite a few spots. Thankfully, Monroe warming up to 23, or our warmest spot. Everyone else, though, not even close to that. So yes, some cold conditions this morning. Like I mentioned, though, our wind chills, I think today's focus, kind of breaking it down, I don't know about you, but I like to organize in my brain. Today's focus is the snow between 12 and 4. 1 to 3 inches expected. Saturday and Sunday, we do have snow expected. They are going to be lighter amounts, but it is going to be cold both of those days too, with chances for lake effect snow. This weekend, unfortunately, is going to be kind of the transition to colder conditions next week. We do have a system Sunday night, late Sunday, I will say, into early Monday, another clipper system. That'll bring us a little bit of snow. Thankfully, a lot of us are off on Monday, so I'm not too worried, because of course a lot of people will not be commuting. If you are commuting on Monday, be prepared for potentially some new snow out there. Totals don't look to be a lot as of right now. Again, clippers usually move fast. We had one that didn't the other day, but they usually move fast more than not, so that should move on through. Then Monday and Tuesday, the biggest focus is going to be how cold it is going to be. Wind chill values will be below 0, especially in the morning. So you're going to want to find ways to stay warm. Also check on your friends, check on your neighbors too. Make sure that they stay warm. But yes, that's what we're looking at. All right, any questions that you have for me? Otherwise, I am going to actually sign off this morning. Feel free to ask your questions. Continuing, I will pop back on as we get closer to noon, and then even after that as the snow starts across the area, tracking where we have heavier bands, also for seeing reduced visibility, which we'll see with the snow as we get later into this morning. So again, breaking it down, light snow coming through this morning. I'll pop back radar on the screen here so you're able to see. Light snow showers this morning, steadier snow between 12 and 4 today, and then we have bitterly cold conditions with light snow chances after that. So please do what you can. Winter's here, winter's hanging around. We're not going to see a big warm up anytime soon. But if you are traveling out the door this morning, bundle up. Light snow this morning. I'm leaving you with the final thoughts here, and then steadier snow between noon and 4 today. Widespread 1 to 3 inches, higher amounts mainly north of I-94 and lighter amounts south of I-94. All right, stay safe out there, everyone. Stay warm as well, and I'll check back in with you a little later today. Feel free to ask your questions. I'll scan through them before I come back on, and we'll answer them later this afternoon.